All right, we're here for our last company. Go ahead and make your way up. This is Yabbly from Seattle, Washington, a mobile Q&A app for shopping research. Thank you very much. I think maybe that was for you. We got 5 minutes right here. That will start when you begin.
Thank you. I'm Tom from Yabbly, and what I'm about to tell you is a 100% true story. It actually happened on the Yabbly beta 2 months ago. Meet Ted and his beautiful dog, Snowflake. Snowflake's long, coarse fur destroyed his $1,200 Miele vacuum, so he had to get a new one. Now, he could have gone here to Amazon, where he would have found over 129,000 results for vacuum cleaners, millions of reviews to read from, mostly 5 stars. I think we all know what a problem this is. Now, luckily, Ted went to Yabbly. And on Yabbly, you start by describing your specific situation. Why are you looking for a vacuum? Which ones are you considering? What are your main concerns? We then match you with other members of our Smart Shopper community who are like you and have firsthand experience making similar decisions. In this case, Heather was a great match. She owns a St. Bernard and multiple vacuum cleaners. She and Ted engaged in a two-way dialogue about his decision, and she ended up recommending the Kenmore, which he loved. But best of all, Heather earned big-time Yabbly karma. And what that means is 2 weeks from now, if Heather's in the market for a new blender or car or TV, we'll notify Ted of the opportunity to return the favor, and we'll also push out Heather's question more broadly to the Yabbly community. So Yabbly is a completely new way to make shopping decisions. You start with your situation. You then get matched to people like you who have firsthand experience owning the products you're thinking of buying. Then you have a dedicated conversation where you can ask follow-up questions about that decision, and the people who help you the most earn the most karma, and they get the most help in the long term. So who uses Yabbly? We tend to see our core users as people in their late 20s to late 30s. They're established in their careers. They buy a lot of products, often starting a young family. Most importantly, they want quality over quantity. They want the best product for them, not the average of 100 random reviews. And this is a huge problem. In America, we spend $1 trillion a year buying new products. Think about all of the waste that is generated by poor product decisions. You buy a product, you think it's going to be perfect for you. It arrives, and you're disappointed. Now you're sad. Now you go buy another one to accomplish your first goal, and you wasted a lot of money. Now you're poor. Sometimes you even take that first product and toss it in the garbage. It goes into a landfill. Now you feel guilty. And nobody's solving this problem. You think about Amazon. They're awesome at generating millions of reviews and shuttling you through that purchase process so quick, sending it to you for free, confirming all of your purchase biases. Not good for making great decisions. Other sites like Quora are awesome for expert Q&A, best answer for the whole community. What's the best answer for me? What's the best advice for me from someone who's been there before? Then there's Facebook, awesome for sharing cat pictures and making banter with other people, but not if you want to make a considered purchase decision. Yabbly's approach is borne out by usage data. 33% of our members last month visited 4 times or more. We get onto your home screen. Our mobile app has 48% month-over-month growth in the last 3 months. And going forward, we will acquire more users through a variety of means, including sharing, but special forms of sharing. So if you see a question that you don't know the answer to, but your friend does, you can get partial karma by referring them into the system. We already show up in tons of Google searches because our content is fresh and relevant and is exactly the same thing people are typing into Google right now. And in the future, we will also build third-party partnerships with companies like e-commerce sites and bloggers who want to integrate Yabbly content or functionality into their experiences. Already, major brands like Honda, Four Seasons, Nordstrom, and Kenmore have either participated in or promoted Yabbly threads to their followers. It's not hard to imagine a future where these same types of brands participate in sponsored content, sponsored offers, or premium data subscriptions. Now, our team was made to solve this problem because we helped create it. I'm an ex-Google product manager. My co-founders are an ex-Target designer and Amazon software engineer. And we have an extended team of investors and advisors for some of the top companies in social, consumer, and retail. We're Yabbly, and our mission is to help transform how the world makes shopping decisions.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So we'll start with Bob. Tell us what you think.
Well, I was disappointed that your true story didn't end with the two dog people falling in love and getting married.
That might be in next year's presentation.
And how much money have you raised?
We've raised $800,000, and we've spent $400,000 to get to where we are now.
And how much more money do you think you need?
We'd like to raise another round of $1 million, and that will allow us to grow the team slightly and really go after user acquisition and go to market.
And do you have some secret sauce in your matching?
Yes. So we look at a lot of things, including the content of the question, the content of answers that you've provided in the past, your profile. But what's the most interesting is we have a karma graph, which looks at who you've helped and who's helped you the most. And so as an example, if there's a vacuum cleaner question that I post, and maybe I've helped you in the past, Bob, we may promote my question to you more to say, hey, Bob, you know, Tom helped you 3 weeks ago with your dishwasher question, and he has a question now about vacuum cleaners, which is something that you've commented on in the past.
Thank you.
Down here are my judges.
So in general, recommendations is a super crowded space. Everybody thinks there's money there. So how will you get above the noise? How will you get to scale?
Yeah, so we see a lot of recommendations products out there that are basically, I really like this product, let me push it onto my friends. I think Yabbly takes a totally different approach, which is, I have a problem, I need someone to recommend something to me, and here's a description of where I'm coming from. So I think the combination of pulling in recommendations versus pushing on to friends, I think tracking the karma between users, and finally, really focusing on that ongoing dialogue. A typical Yabbly thread sometimes goes on for days, if not weeks, and it's a lot more involved and engaging than just seeing someone like a product.
My judges are quiet. Maria, go ahead.
Sort of a follow-on question to John's question about the crowdedness in the space is, who do you look to for inspiration? What sites inspire you and instruct you and help you think about how you're going to rise above the crowd?
Yeah, there are plenty of great companies that we look at where we see them do parts of what we do really well. I think Quora's emails are amazing, and I will be honest, we've stolen a lot of their best practices. And it's resulted in great sort of engagement for Yabbly. We also think some of the simplicity of very social apps like Thumb have been really great in getting a lot of rapid participation. And so some of the UX practices that they've used, we've borrowed from as well.
Can you talk a little bit about the sponsored model as well? I mean, it's easy to understand how a sponsor would get behind something and promote it to their followers if it's a positive review. What happens in the case of negative reviews?
Yeah, so in the easiest case is if they see a positive review, they can promote that whole discussion on Yabbly. What often will happen is if they see a question where someone's saying like, hey, I'm trying to decide between a Miele and a Bosch, but I'm really not sure about the drying technology for the Miele because I have a lot of sippy cups. So that's an actual Yabbly thread. And what we've done is we have a Yabbly concierge that currently goes out to some of those brands and says like, hey, you know, we have a member that has this question, and they're often very willing to provide that information. So it's often not just push up, you know, buy Miele, but it's actually providing helpful information as sponsored and answer. In terms of negative reviews, yeah, those, we don't imagine those brands will want to sponsor those threads, but we won't stop them either.
So describe what's the typical user experience? Because I was under the impression that this was mobile, but is this more of a desktop experience? Or am I outshot?
Yes, yes to both questions.
Oh, right.
So we have a mobile app as well as a desktop app. We see 2/3 of our usage on mobile, but 1/3 does happen on desktop. The typical use case is you're out and about and you think to yourself, oh man, this dishwasher is just is leaking for the last time. It's going to cost me more to fix it than replace it. So you may just right there whip out your phone and say, and describe your situation and post it to Yabbly, tag it as family, and then we immediately will notify certain people that you've helped. We'll also post it in those sections. And then other people will start replying. Your phone will buzz. You'll get a notification saying, oh, you know, John has responded to your question. And maybe John will actually redirect it. He may say, well, it really depends on what you want out of a dishwasher. I really like my Miele, but I can't put as much in it as I used to be able to put in my Whirlpool. Then you might be at work. You'll get the alert over email, and you can log into the desktop and continue that conversation there. So we support multiple platforms because really important purchasing decisions happen over a period of time. They're not just like, oh, you recommended, I buy it. There's a conversation, and that's what also brings our community together so they feel more like they know each other as well.
So you don't think this isn't a thing that I'm going to, hey, what should I buy? Somebody's going to tell me in real time, and then I'm going to do it. This is a long-term.
And to be honest, we started with that hypothesis, that, oh, should I buy the red shoes or the blue shoes? We found it's very unnatural for someone to be in the store at the 11th hour and then wait for results and then instantly buy something based on some votes.
Right.
What we found was that when it's longer, when it's at the moment of inception, and you're starting to research, you're more open, you're undecided, and that also happens to be what brands are liking too. So just yesterday after our presentation, folks from Rubbermaid and Procter & Gamble said, how can we come in and sponsor the home section and provide additional sponsored content?
Isn't the sponsorship going to undermine the idea of the community?
Yeah, so that'll be something we'll have to be very careful about. And what we'll likely do is any sponsored information or offers will be clearly indicated as such. Also, when you post your question, you may be able to say, hey, I will opt in. I'm open to receiving sponsored information as part of this conversation, or no, I don't want to. Lastly, every advertiser will have a quality score the same way that members do. So if you put a lot of spammy content in there and members vote it as not being helpful, we won't take your content no matter how much you bid.
Lots of head shaking down there. You all feel good about this?
Good job.
Sure. Bob, you have anything?
I was wondering whether sponsors could pay for special promotions that are triggered by keywords in a request.
Yeah, so what we could do is if you post about the dishwasher or the new car, we may inform Best Buy and say, hey, if you want, you can offer this person a free delivery for whatever dishwasher he ends up buying. And by the way, Best Buy, this member is highly influential in the Yabbly community. He's helped multiple members. He's very active in the home category. You know, you probably should give him something even more than free delivery.
Well, buying intent is a very valuable thing to notice, so I guess you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the moment of inception when they're undecided. They're raising their hand saying, I need input, and they haven't yet made that final brand affiliation.
Yeah, I used to publish a magazine where the editors thought the ads were a necessary evil. But since the ads were so targeted, the readers appreciated the ads because they had intent. They were reading for that purpose. I would assume the same thing would happen in your environment.
And that happened with Ted and Heather. So our concierge reached out to Kenmore and said, hey, Heather recommended Kenmore. What is your best brand for a breed with long hair? And they got back to us, and then we shared that with Ted, and he loved it. And he went from a Miele, a $1,200, to a Kenmore, and now he reported back that it was perfect for him. So everybody was happy, and Kenmore retweeted it to their 4,000 followers.
Cool. Looks like we're going to finish this one early. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Very good.